Hello, everyone. It's me, a Hare over Hill, and with almost every time that I do this, I come to you somewhat after seeing a movie, which in this case was Kung Fu Panda 4. Yeah, I'm publishing this after opening weekend, but I have a general schedule that I keep in terms of these videos. But with that being said, what are my, as always, it's a casual review. These are my first thoughts on the film, and uh, okay, my history with the series as it goes. I might have seen the original Kung Fu Panda in theaters. I don't directly remember, but I have seen it each film probably once, and I appreciate them for what they are. A fun little kung fu comedy animated movies and whatnot, fighting movies, um, that in general have some more depth with them and things that are there for both the kids and the adults. And this and Kung Fu Panda fought does not is very much the same in that there's a direct moral of the story. It runs great. Um, uh, it's fun for. It can be good fun for both the kids and the adults. Um, not every joke landed, but it definitely did great. Uh, what I mean by that is like, oh yeah, they are really like taking like not every joke landed. Is that during one sequence of the movie, probably within the first, like within that third segment act, um, they were doing a chase sequence uh, within like the major city of the movie, um, and they had Poe smash into a Dorian cart. It's like, oh, they're gonna like, oh, maybe this is going to be like a reference to Avatar. It's like, not my Dorians, instead of not my cabbages, but they didn't. And it's like, okay, it's a one-off joke. Okay, he falls in. Like, I think he almost every movie has Poe landing into some like crashing into a cart, like a sales cart of some kind. Okay, then this time it's a cart of Dorians, which is somewhat funny upon itself. Why they didn't try and make a Dorian joke, I really don't know. And if you don't know anything about Dorians, they're supposed to be like these really big, like somewhat like American football size, twice the size of American football, spiky fruit that if you crack it open smells terribly and smells and tastes just bad. Though it's a very popular fruit in Asia and whatnot. But here's the thing. The first time they did it's like, okay, it's a small sight joke that's referencing the previous movies. Then they do it again. It's like, okay, then rule of three. You always have to do the rule of three. Did it once. Did it twice. They didn't do it a third time within the sequence. They're gonna do it again within, like, after this, they're gonna do it again. They never did again. So unless I saw like the second and third and somehow missed the first part of it, or like there was a third segment within that the Dorian card joke. Like, and that's the thing. Why I said 1, 2 is like, oh, they did it once, okay, hey, push it off, and then you can come again with a guy clearly like dying into card, and it's like, oh, clearly this is the follow-up joke, haha, we're gonna see this again. They never follow up, and during the major major sequence at the end of the movie, fight sequence, okay, we are at the major sequence. They're gonna they aren't gonna do it here unless they go outside of the arena that they're fighting in, and just and they do it again during it's but it's by all tales, it's they're either going to do it now, which probably not, or do it most likely after the tail end of the sequence. They never do. They never did, and it's looking back, it's yeah, the first 2 times were minor, but it was still one of those your comedy movie. Rule of 3. It's one of those, if you do something once and then you reference it again, it's commonly, we somehow reference back at it again. And it goes back to and then every time you do it afterwards, you get diminishing returns unless you do it oh yeah, we do it 3 times, then we do an, okay, they're doing reference. But rule of 3 again, you have to do another set of 3. But it's just, I'm focusing too much on a singular joke, but that's what I mean. Some of the jokes land. Not all of them do, and it's they are forgetting some fundamental parts of it's not I'm no professor of joke telling, nor am I a professional comedian, but it's one of those things oh, that could have been a fun thing if they did it again, but they never did, and I forgot about it. But overall, yeah, the trailer is important. Okay, we get the idea of the villain of the movie, the chameleon, and I understand it's a movie targeting kids at the end of the day, but in a way, I wish in Act 1 that they introduced the chameleon at oh yeah, they somewhat introduce in Act 1. They definitively do, but oh yeah, she transforms. It could be anyone, anything. They reference that so early in and it's they don't utilize that fact. And it's one of those things that's yeah, it's a kids movie. They can't go heavy duty on in reality this is actually chameleon. They can't do that a whole lot without making, but it's one of those things that's so much of what they could how they with it's whenever she takes the form of another person, it's okay, it's that individual but with some scales. It's obvious, somewhat obvious, when she's transformed. So it's one of those things that if you aren't paying attention, you might not notice. But once you notice it, it is obvious from the perspective of the audience. So I in part wish they did more of the oh yeah, I am secretly this character. I'm secretly this character, and I wish they did that a little bit more. And they somewhat did do that, but with another character, but yeah. From what I remember, I quickly did a small search of it. It's reviewing somewhat well by all metrics, but for me, it starts falling short a little bit. Yeah, actually, for some reason, I thought it was a whole lot higher than what it is. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't realize that my monitor was. So things were going wrong with me, no, behind the scenes. Uh, so I can't exactly pull it up at the moment. But it's going. According, like, as a small reference, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's going, like, the tomato their critics review of it is at 71 with an audience at 87. I am. I in general, I agree with her that, like, 17, like 7 out of 10 for me. It's good. But one of the big things that I really liked about the movie was, with most of the previous movies, like, oh yeah, we talk about kung fu, but there isn't a lot of like, oh yeah, it's an action comedy movie. It's an action movie. Like, yeah, it's not Jackie. Like, I'm not going to watch an animated Jackie Chan movie in which it's nearly action almost every other scene, but almost any of the other movies, it's like, I would like. It's an action comedy. It's a kung fu comedy movie. I would like a little bit more comedy, action in my action comedy movie. This movie really provided that, in that there were more action, and like, I say this is an action. The series is definitively an action comedy, but I wouldn't. Most of the rest of the series, I would not. From what I remember, I would not call it a kung fu comedy movie. This is a kung fu comedy. No, like, does it compare to, like, a Jackie Chan kung fu comedy? No, but it starts getting there. In that there's a whole lot more kung fu. There's comedy mixed in with the action. I have to appreciate it for what it is. Um, as always, these are just rambly thoughts. Leave your thoughts about Kung Fu Panda down in the comment section down below. Um, with most things, this is not really a film that I would suggest going to see in the theaters. Um, like, it's one of those movies that, even like, oh, look at the cinematic shot. It's like, it's not really, like, really worth seeing in on the big screen. But I would definitely, at the end of the day, suggest it. So yeah, see you around, folks.